this is the second part of Module 10.2. And we're going to start off with our check understanding. Again, with check understanding, see what you can do by yourself and then see how you did. So Jim gives the cashier a $20 bill. So I know that's important, so I'm going to highlight it. At the pharmacy, write an equation that relates the change C he gets back in dollars to the cost B in dollars of his purchases. Which variable represents the independent variable? Remember, the independent variable, that is the variable that can change, and the dependent depends on that variable. So the independent variable is going to be the cost of something, because the cost makes the other thing, the amount of change you get back, change. So the independent variable is the B. How much change does he get back if he purchases a total of $12.83? So what we're going to do, the dependent variable is C, so we're going to start with C equals. If something is $20, he has 20, and then he has to subtract from the subtract the cost of whatever it is from the 20. So that's what the equation looks like. And they want us to put this in there right there. So we have C equals 20 minus 12.83. And when we do that, we get C equals $7.17. Let's look at the next one. A hot air balloon is 45 meters above the top of the tallest building in the city. So we're 45 above. Above means we're going to be adding. Okay. So above means that we are at the top of the building. So if the top of the building is right here, the hot air balloon is up here. So this would be the hot air balloon. Let's finish reading. Write an equation to show the height B of the balloon if the tallest building is T meters tall. So first we need to figure out the independent and the dependent variable. In this case, the B is the dependent dependent variable, and the T is the independent variable, because the height of the balloon depends upon how tall the building is. When we set up our equation, remember the dependent variable goes on the left-hand side by itself, so I have B equals. Then I know that we're going to be 45 meters above T. Above means we're going to be adding it. So 45 plus T. And yeah, I wrote my T a little fancy to make sure we know the difference between which one's the addition and which one's the T. So you can write it like this, or you can have it with the T in front of the 45. So either one of those works. Now we don't need to solve it because they only told us to write the equation. Let's get down to the what do you remember. Our first one is about Rosa. She earns $12.25 per hour. So we're going to be, I know we're going to be multiplying because of that word per. Working at an ice cream shop. We're going to write an equation that shows Rosa's earnings E for working H hours. So the amount of money you get depends on how many hours you work. So E is our dependent variable because the amount you get depends on how many hours. So I have E equals, and we said we are going to multiply. So 12.25, and we're going to multiply that by H. And we only had to write an equation, so we're done. Our next one, Neil pays $19.99 for each shirt he buys. How many shirts total P does he pay for S shirts? So first we need to find the dependent and independent variable. So the amount of money you get depends on how many shirts you buy. So this is your dependent variable, then this would be your independent variable. Remember, your dependent variable goes by itself. And if each shirt costs $19.99, we're going to be multiplying because we have each here. So I have $19.99, and then we're going to put our S next to it. The S is our placeholder for when we put in the amount of shirts. A coupon discounts the total grocery bill by $3.50. So that means if I could put a coupon, I'm subtracting $3.50. How many dollars, G, is the bill after the discount if the bill before the discount is B dollars? So, let's find our independent and dependent variable. How many dollars is the bill? So, how many dollars the bill is depends upon how much the discount. So I have G equals, we're going to take the total cost and we have to subtract the discount. I would suggest when you do these, you talk about these out loud, because when you talk them out loud, they're going to make them easier for you. Tickets for a local dog show cost $9.75 each. What is the total cost, C, in dollars for T, tickets? So the cost depends on how many tickets you buy. So the C is the dependent variable, because remember the dependent variable depends on the other variable. So C equals, each of them costs $9.75, so that means we're going to be multiplying. So $9.75, and we're just going to put T right next to it. Omar has been practicing violin for 4.5 years longer than his sister. So that means we add 4.5. If his sister has been practicing for X years, how many years, Y, has Omar been practicing violin? So when we look at this, it has X and Y, so that makes it really easy. Remember, Y is always the dependent variable. So I have Y equals, the sister is the X. So we have X, and then we said we're going to add 4.5. I don't know why I circled that one. I just did. And let's look at our last one about Miss Quinn. Miss Quinn pays $16.99 per person to take several friends to lunch. With this per, that means we're going to be multiplying. Write an equation that represents the cost C in dollars. Miss Quinn pays for her F friends. So the amount of friends determines how much the cost is. So the cost is our dependent variable. So I have C equals, our number is $16.99, and we said we're going to multiply by the amount of friends, so F. Now, they also want us to put in 7 friends, and 7 goes in for F because F stands for friends. So C equals 16.99 times 7, because they told us to put a 7 in for F, and a letter and a number next to each other means multiplication. When I take 16.99 times 7, I get 118.93, and this is the cost, so we need to label it with money. So sometimes they're going to have you just do the equation. Sometimes they're going to have you do the equation, and then they give you a number to try the equation out. Take your time on these, because the biggest thing that you're going to do is you're going to accidentally flip-flop the independent and dependent variable. Remember, the dependent variable depends upon what happens in the independent variable. And that's the end of lesson 2.